Elvis was going to miss the birth of our, I'm like screaming. It's just like baby's heartbeat did continue to drop with. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. As most of you guys know, baby number 4 has arrived. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about my birth story, and I'm also going to be telling you guys a little bit about the before, what I had done the day prior and the morning prior, because it's all super relevant to my birth story, which in the moment was pretty traumatic for myself. But now that I've had, like 5 days to think about it and process it, it could have, been a lot worse. But baby is here, I'm healthy, and baby's healthy. But first we are gonna start out the afternoon of, because I had started filming. I didn't realize that things were going to progress so fast. I am starting out with making the midwife's brew. I had been doing everything I could for about 10 days to get labor started. I had a lot of false labor, and I was really ready to meet baby. But if you're going to make this drink, if you're currently pregnant or when you become pregnant and you remember this video, please consult with your doctor first, and do not try to do this before like 39, 40 weeks pregnant. I would suggest waiting until you are full term, but also always talk to your doctor before you do anything that you find on Google or online, or you hear from a friend. It's always just the best idea to consult with your doctor first. But let's go ahead and get into this video. Like I said, we're just going to quickly start out in the afternoon, and then I'll be coming back on here and I'll be introducing you guys to baby. I know that a lot of people are wondering if baby is a boy or girl, so we'll be talking about all of that. Alright, so we are starting out with the midwife's brew. If you guys have never heard about it and you're curious, go ahead and look it up on Google. You can find a lot of information on there about it. Also, talk with your doctor, because I feel that most doctors are aware of this. It's very popular. But like I said, consult with your doctor before you do this. If you are pregnant, you're full term, it may be something you want to mention to your doctor. It is just apricot juice, nut butter, and then you have the castor oil, and then this lemon tea, which I couldn't find the exact tea that the recipe called for. I just grabbed this one from Sprouts, and obviously, y'all, it did a good job. I am adding this in because I do think that it played a huge part in my labor starting, and one of the main reasons why my labor went so incredibly fast. So I did personally drink the midwife's brew on an empty stomach. I figured that that would personally be the best for me, and now I am going to get myself some lunch. Like I say in the birth story, I was wanting to film a little bit more. I was wanting to film some updates and keep you guys kind of like with me throughout the day, but everything happened so fast that did not happen. But once we get done here with lunch, we are just going to head right into the birth story, and you guys are going to get a few clips of baby in the hospital. And I do want to apologize for how many times I say while I'm telling my birth story, but y'all, I was not going to film it again. Alright, so now we are back. I'm not sure if this angle is a very good angle, but I do have baby, so I am just going to try to get through this fast as possible, and I'm trying to do as little editing as possible. So if this is kind of all over the place, I have had very little sleep, and I'm sure a lot of you know how it is having a newborn and recovering, and also having other kids. So we left off at lunch, and when I finished lunch, I did some cleaning and took a shower and was getting ready. But let's go back to the day prior, because I did have a doctor's appointment, And at my doctor's appointment, my doctor did check me. He said that I was about 3 centimeters. I had an ultrasound because baby was measuring small. So I did have to get weekly ultrasounds to check measurement just to make sure that everything was okay. I had been at 2 centimeters for like 3 weeks. So when the doctor told me that I was at 3, I was like, okay, I don't have high hopes, of progressing. And I actually had the same with Owen, and he came much later than my girls, but he was born at 39 weeks. So the next day I got up and I really wanted to get labor started. I was ready. I decided I was going to go to the gym, which I had been going to the gym for the last couple weeks, just walking. I've been walking at home. So I went and I walked for an hour, and then I had heard from a friend about the midrise brew. I decided to look it up online and realized I have none of those ingredients. So I needed to run to 4 different stores. I really wanted to do this as early as possible because I did need to pick up all the kids from school. Like I said, consult your doctor before you do the midwives brew because it can make you sick. And that's why I wanted to start earlier than I did, because I knew that if I needed Elvis to go pick the kids up, I needed to let him know as soon as possible, because he is a nurse and it's sometimes really difficult to get away from your job. So I made it. It was terrible. It tastes awful, but I drank it. I think I finished it probably a little bit, 12-15. And then I noticed about 1 that I was having some just mild contractions, but kind of like Braxton Hicks. So I, of course wanted to wait until they got more intense. So, I could clean through them. I was getting ready. I'm sorry if you guys hear Camila out there. She is playing with Elvis right now. So, but I wanted to get ready, and, I wanted to do my hair and my makeup and all of that. So, I was easily able to do all of those things through the contractions. And then I would say a little bit before 5, probably 4:45, I did have a gush of blood. So that's when I became concerned and told Elvis that we needed to go to labor and delivery, not because of the contractions, but because I wanted to get checked out. Because of that had never happened to me in any of my other pregnancies, and it was enough for me to be concerned. So we get everything together, and I finish doing what I'm doing, and I call my mom, who's an hour away. I'm just told her that I think that I'm going into labor, that she needs to meet us at our house. Well, meet Elvis because he's going to drop me off at the hospital, and then come back, drop the kids off. So she said that would work, and that she would, meet him back here and get the kids. So on the way to the hospital, which is only probably about 15 minutes away from my house, I noticed that my contractions are speeding up. They're becoming more intense. I've had 3 other kids, so it was something that I did not think was going to progress as fast as it did. But by the time I get to labor and delivery, they're pretty painful at this point, and I'm having to kind of breathe through them, work through them, and I get to triage and I tell them, what had happened and that I'm pretty sure I'm in labor. So the lady checking me in, she has me sit and wait, get back into triage, I get checked, and the nurse is like, so I'm going to bring another nurse in here, and we're just going to work on you together, get you up to labor and delivery as fast as we can. And at this point, I'm like, okay, what is going on? The nurse tells me that I'm already between 7 and 8 centimeters dilated. And at this point, I'm starting to stress out that I'm not going to be able to get my epidural. But the nurse did tell me that I should be able to, get it as long as they get me up there super fast, and they'll go ahead and contact the doctor that was going to be doing the epidural. So, and this time that I'm in triage for probably 15 minutes, contractions are really, they're getting pretty bad at this point. And the nurse tells the other nurse that they need to speed things up. That way they don't have to deliver the baby down in triage, which that was a little dramatic, but looking back, it definitely wasn't. So they quickly get me up to labor and delivery. And the nurse comes up and tells them like what's going on, and then I have quite a bit of other people come into my room. I have a doctor who isn't my doctor come in. I have 3 other nurses plus the 2 triage nurses that brought me up. They check me. I am already at 9 centimeters. They're asking me if my partner is here, where is he at? And I told them that my husband took our kids back to meet my mom and that he should be back probably in the next like 30 minutes. And things are getting way worse, and I'm begging them at this point for my epidural. The doctor checks me and she tells me that I am 9 centimeters and that once my water breaks that I am not going to be able to get a epidural, which was very scary for me. And this is something that I've stressed with almost all of my pregnancies, is that 1, I'm not going to make it to the hospital on time, or 2, I'm going to get there too late to get my epidural. And it gave me a lot of anxiety and stress. And prior to this, I did think that, you know, when Elvis dropped me off, I figured that we at least had a few hours before baby would arrive. So I had, you know, I did not think that anything was going to happen, that Elvis was going to miss the birth of our 4th and last baby. But at this point, I'm like screaming. It's just like in the movies. I'm sure that a lot of people are much more calm during natural birth, and I had not had time to prepare for that. And the nurses were great. Even though I did not have my support person there, or my mom, or a friend, the nurses were great at encouraging me and trying to keep me as calm as possible. But the doctor did say that as soon as my water broke, that I would have to push and have natural birth. She was very encouraging also. She, you know, told me that I was able to do this, that I had to do it for my baby because baby's heartbeat did continue to drop with every contraction I was having, because I was unable to breathe through the contractions. So my water broke. I think I had maybe 3 contractions up in labor and delivery, and then my water did break. So everything just, I mean, it happened within minutes, and I was just trying to process everything that was going on. And for me, it was a very traumatic experience. Like throughout the whole entire night, I was pretty like traumatized from what all had happened. And so I did stop for a minute. I'm gonna try to remember where I stopped at, but my water did break, and then I started to tell them that I was having a lot of pressure. And so I mean, everything just happened so incredibly fast. The nurses like threw my legs up onto the things, and the doctor's like, you have to push, because I could even hear on the monitor that baby's heart rate was dropping a lot during the contractions. The doctor did try to get me over on my side, but everything was just, it was just so incredibly fast that there was just, honestly, there was no time for anything. The doctor, they just threw my legs up and they told me like, you have to push. So this was probably only maybe 4 to 5 contractions up in labor and delivery. All the while I was screaming, felt alone, even though I wasn't alone. It was, I would say, a very like not scary experience, because I knew that I had trained professionals there that could take care of me, and they knew exactly what they were doing. But it is kind of like lonely not to have, you know, a loved one there. But they got baby out in 1 contraction. I mean, any woman who is giving natural birth and has to push multiple times, like, you are amazing. All women who give birth are amazing. Or a C-section, doesn't really matter how your baby comes out, you know, because I would have loved to have my epidural. I would have much rather preferred that, because for me it's been a much more relaxing experience with all my other 3 that were born with the epidural. And like I said, I just wasn't prepared for this, so I felt that everything was just so much different. But they did bring baby out. And funny thing is that I had my ultrasound the day before, like I had mentioned in the beginning. And when they pulled the ultrasound off of your belly, it like gets stuck on a picture. And I swear, y'all, that it got stuck on a little boy's part. And they pulled her out. The doctor asked me, like, do you know what you're having? And I was like, no, I don't know what I'm having. And she's like, it's a girl. And I did say, I was like, what? It's a girl? And she was like, yeah, flips her around, shows me that she's a girl, and she was a girl, which if you guys go back on my community post, there was a time where I did a poll and asked if you guys thought baby was a girl or boy, and the majority said boy. So that also made me, I feel like that persuaded me a little bit, even though all of the old wives' tales were pointing towards girl. So yeah, we now have 3 girls and 1 boy, which I knew Owen really wanted a brother, but he has been so awesome with her. He hasn't once like said that he was disappointed or anything like that. So, and he's been super sweet with her. Actually, all the kids have been great with her. Mila is definitely like a little mommy and loves to mother her. I'm definitely gonna have to keep my eyes on her because she's asking me all the time, can I carry her? Can I pick her up? So even though it's been a wild pregnancy and birth and all of that. And the reason why I had that gush of blood was because there was something going on with my placenta. The doctor did tell me, but honestly, at that point in time, everything was going in one ear and out the other. And when Elvis walked in, I didn't even have time to call him to let him know like what was going on. I had planned on like filming throughout the day, like kind of like doing an update. I was not going to do a birth vlog, but I did personally want to have that moment on camera when the doctor told us if we were having a boy or girl, even though I was 100% sure that we were having a boy. I still wanted it, you know, just in case. And yes, surprise, she was a girl, not a boy. I just wanted to have that, and I did want to film, you know, like an update in the hospital and, you know, do all of those fun things, but it just didn't happen. And by the time that she came out and everything had happened, I did not want to do any filming in the hospital except for at the end you guys will see some clips of us with the baby, like basically before we go home. But you know, I was just trying to process everything, and it was all, you know, when you give birth, tons of emotions anyways, and then your labor and delivery does not go as planned. It was all just a lot, but I'm so thankful that we are healthy and that baby is healthy. And yeah, but that is my birth story, and no, it's not as traumatic as what I thought at first. But I guess, you know, everybody had been telling me I had like 3 people tell me with their 4th baby, they had them either in the car or at home. And then I had multiple people tell me that they made it to the hospital within about 20 minutes of giving birth to their baby. So I'm like, there must be some kind of truth to that of, you know, the more kids that you have, the faster that they come. Even though she was the longest one that I was pregnant with, she definitely did come super fast. Owen, he was my second, and he actually came very fast. But Camila, she was a preemie, so I feel like that's probably why she didn't come as fast, because my body wasn't like 110% ready like it was with them too. So, but I will go ahead and introduce you guys to baby girl. We did end up naming her Sophia Grace, which was not even on our list. But yeah, it just felt right. So I will go ahead and introduce you guys to her and let you guys get a peek. She's gentle.
super cute.
She is super cute, huh?
Yeah.
She's so little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's so squishy.
She is a little squishy, huh? There she. Oh, be gentle.
I want to touch her nose.
Her little nose. Just a little tap. Yeah, that's it.